So, as you can see, my new computer case actually came in today. Really excited to build in it. I just actually took it out of the box over here. I was just going through it and I wanted to give a quick, post about, what's in this case, what I'm expecting to get out of it, and some of the features that it's got that kind of drew me to it. So, first things first, just look on the outside for a bit. You can see the side panel here has a nice bulge on the outside. It's got some fan grills here. And on the inside here, there's actually two 120 millimeter fans. I'm not sure. I believe that they are white LED fans. I'm not 100% on that. I'm going to kind of explore that as I build in it. I'm planning on kind of mixing those in with the blue LED fans I have, which actually have the box over here. These blue LED fans that I bought a while ago for my 800D, which are working pretty well actually. I might swap those in, and I'll see how the white LED fans sort of mix with that. Maybe I'll get like a softer blue out of it overall. Hopefully it won't look a little silly with having like white fans over here and blue fans over here, but we'll see how it looks. Looking forward to messing around with that and getting the color scheme right. But I think white and blue are kind of the way to go for a white case. Kind of makes sense. But yeah, you can see it's got a nice big window here for all the components that you do want to see. It's got this, nice mesh filter here actually, where this fan grill is for the intakes here. So that's actually a nice little touch. On the top one, the biggest reasons I got this case is because this big, robust handle at the very top of the case. I mean, I picked it up a few times, just kind of, shook it around a little bit in the air, and I got to tell you, this is a really, really nice, sturdy handle. It doesn't feel like it's just kind of screwed on. It feels like it's actually a part of the case. They feel like one solid piece. I would feel really confident just loading this thing up and just hauling ass with this handle. Really just feels very nice. The rubber grip's actually pretty nice. It's a little flat for the contour of my hand here, but the rubber on the bottom actually is a little textured, so it's pretty nice actually. Then you have some sort of edgy looking fan grill stuff going on up here, which I think looks pretty cool. You can see it's called the Stryker. A little bit of branding there. Let's move over to the front actually. And here, right where the handle is, there's the power button, which has this beautiful tactile click to it. This is a nice big power button. I think this actually lights up with an LED if I'm not mistaken. I will double check that again when I build in it, but it feels really nice. I just like pressing it. That's amazing. The power button on my 800D, as you know, crapped out, but it's this just feels like a better design for a button. I mean, the 800D was very kind of lackluster. It was just like a button. This feels just really satisfying. In addition to that, you have an LED on and off button for all the fans that come included on the case. You have a actually built-in fan controller. Here's the plus, here's the minus, and again, those are just really tactile, nice clicky buttons. And they actually have some LEDs that light up over here to tell you sort of what level the fans are at in the case. So that's actually a nice little touch there. I do have a Sovereign fan controller that's made by Scythe. It's really nice. But I might actually just use this as like an LED controller or something. I'll figure that out later. I would like to use that for something though, because it's a nice feature and it's right there on the top. In addition to that, you have a reset button over here. Again, very tactile, very nice click to it. And there's like a little part right here. Here's the reset button up here. And then there's this little like divot where it looks like they're about to put a port. And I guess on the Stormtrooper case, which is like the brother case to this, the one that's in black with red LED fans, they actually have an eSATA port here. And on the Stryker, I guess they took it out because they figured nobody's really going to use that. Would have been cool to see like I don't know, like another USB port or something there. Maybe just like a high-speed, supercharged port or whatever they call it. But they should have used that for something. It feels a little weird having just that one blank space there. So I don't know. We also have two USB 2.0 ports and two USB 3.0 ports, here and here respectively. Got your headphone, mic jack, some LEDs for the hard drive and the power. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. You also have this thing called an X dock at the top, actually, which I think is pretty cool. It's basically a 2.5-inch drive hot swap bay. So if you have like an SSD or one of the small hard drives, like a laptop drive, you can throw it in there and get some expandable storage that you don't have to turn your computer on and off, or you don't have to mess with too many cables. Just throw it right in there, you're good to go. So that's actually a really cool thing they have. On the front, you have all these 5.25-inch bay guards here. And one thing I really like about these actually is that every single one of these actually has a really fine mesh filter inside. I'm not sure if you can see that mesh filter. Hopefully with the light you can see that little glare there. That is a really fine mesh filter that they have on every one of these. You can actually remove that and blow it with some canned air. I'm sure you how to do that now. You just kind of pop the tabs out and just pop that thing off and good to go. Clean that off, stick it back on, and you're all set. So it's another nice little touch that they added to this case. I'm just going to throw that back on there. But that I think is pretty cool. That they just have like sort of a cleanable filter mesh thing built in, even just on like the the 5 1/4 drives. That's pretty nice. Anyway, got a whole bunch of these 5 1/4 inch bay slot guards here, and they all just remove by pulling it on the sides and popping it right off. For the actual 5 1/4 inch bays, we have 1, 2, 3 mounts for those, and then below that, from like here on, is actually a bunch of regular hard drive mounts for your 3.5 inch hard drives, and those are actually cages that I'll show you in a little bit. And as far as I know, those cages are actually rotatable. You can rotate all those cages 90 degrees, so you can kind of change up the fan orientation with these two fans. You can throw them in the front, you can throw them on the inside of the case pointing towards the GPU, and you can kind of figure out where you want them. You can even actually throw them so that the fans are on this side of the case, and you see there's another mesh grill there, more filter, with more mesh filtering there. So you got a lot of options there, which is kind of nice. The very bottom one of these, actually, you have, I'm going to pull it out actually, might as well. You have an optional 3.5 inch little guard there too, so you can just pop that out and have a 3.5 inch bay instead of a full like 5 1/4 bay. So that's kind of nice. For those of you who have like floppy drives or maybe just like a card reader or something, you got that there too, which is kind of nice. On the very bottom here, this little Cooler Master Storm emblem. This actually is hiding a little toolbox here. So I'm actually just going to show you how to take this off real quick. You just pinch the sides. There's 2 buttons on either side. Once those release, you just pull this guy off, and you can see this kind of spring-loaded here. Take that away. Then inside here, you actually have a little accessory box. I actually have already unscrewed these 2 screws on the side here that hold it into place. You can see they have little like locks here too if you want to lock that into place for whatever reason. I don't see the need to, but whatever. To each his own. Anyway, you slide this guy out, and it's basically like a little, not toolbox necessarily, but like a little accessory box for your case. So just pop this thing open, and inside you find that you have all the cables and screws that you need to complete your build. You have a whole bunch of standoffs of the motherboard. You have some fan mounting screws. I think you have some of the hard drive screws are in here. You got a motherboard speaker, whole bunch of zip ties. And oh, by the way, these little black things here, these are actually 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch adapters for if you want to put an SSD in a hard drive, or vice versa. Actually, I'm not sure if they're 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch drive adapters, or if they're adapters for the 5 1/4 inch. I'll have to consult the manual for that. So I'll take a look at that. But you also have a CPU power extension cable for the power supply. It is a big case, so I might actually need that, which is kind of nice they included that. Motherboard speaker, I think I mentioned before. And that really does it for the included accessories. They also have like a little attachment for your screwdriver so that you can install those standoffs for the motherboard. But it's a nice little accessory box here. I mean, it's decently big too. I mean, you could probably fit like a 120 millimeter or 140 millimeter fan. Obviously not with all this stuff in it too. But if you wanted to, I mean, you could probably throw like a full-size fan in there for your case. I mean, it's got a decent amount of room there. So I'm not sure exactly what I'll be using for this. I mean, this might just be like a little place where I can throw like an extra HDMI or USB cable or something in here for my peripherals when I go to a LAN party. But it's just a nice thing to have. So that's a kind of cool little thing they added to the Cooler Master Storm Stryker here. I'm just going to slide that back into place, and again, that emblem goes right down here. Boom, all good. So, it's getting a little dirty already. So from here, we've taken a look at the side panel already. We've not, however, taken a look at the other side panel. As you can see, it's extremely plain. The one thing I do want to mention is that it does have a nice little bulge here for your cable management. That's going to be a really nice thing to work with here. You have that fan filter right here, like we were talking about before, that mesh. And that's actually a pretty nice feature that they have there. If you want to change the orientation of the fans, you do have that option. So it's nice that Cooler Master thought of putting that there just for those people who wanted to rotate their drive cages that much. Anyway, moving on. If we look at the back, first thing you're going to see is we have a really nice, really long fan filter at the top. To be honest, I don't see the purpose of this, and I'm not trying to knock Cooler Master at all, but the way I see it, the top part of the case should really only be for exhaust fans. It's great that they covered all their bases there. You know, that's great and all, but really, if you have these top-mounted fans and you have them pulling in air rather than exhausting it out of the case, you're probably doing something wrong. I mean, just the way that hot air naturally works, I mean, it's going to rise to the top of the case. It makes the most sense to have those top fans be exhaust, so I might actually just toss this. I'm probably not going to use it. There's no point in filtering an exhaust fan because all you're doing is trapping the dust, and the dust is going to block off the fan that's trying to exhaust the heat out of the case. It doesn't really make sense to me to have that there. But like I said, they're just trying to cover all their bases, I guess, for anybody who really wants to do like a positive air pressure build, who's like dead set on having every single fan positive air pressure. They made that filter just for you, I guess. So enjoy. But that's not going to be me. I do want to have a positive air pressure system overall, but I'm not going to turn every fan into an intake, especially if it's the top fan. That's a little silly, if you ask me. And